All right, folks, buckle up, because we've got some big news that's going to make every Peaky Blinders fan sit up straight. Cillian Murphy is officially stepping back into that razor-sharp cap as Thomas Shelby, and Netflix has finally given us an update on when we'll see him again. That's right, the wait is almost over, and the long-rumored Peaky Blinders movie has a name: The Immortal Man. After years of speculation, whispers, and endless fan theories, the project is locked, filmed, and headed straight to our screens in 2026. And considering we last saw Tommy Shelby in 2022 when the series wrapped up its 6th season, this return feels like it's been brewing for a lifetime. So, what can fans expect from this big screen continuation? Let's dive into all the details about the film, the cast, and what makes this such a huge pop culture moment. The title itself, The Immortal Man, already feels like a perfect fit for Tommy Shelby. If you followed the show, you know Tommy isn't just a gangster, he's a legend. Someone who thrives on myth, absence, and just enough mystery to keep everyone guessing. By the time we left him at the end of Season 6, he had already cheated death more times than we can count. That final season showed a man ready to walk away, but also one who couldn't quite let go of his destiny. So now, placing Tommy in the chaos of World War II feels like the ultimate next chapter. The stakes are global, the enemies are bigger than ever, and the survival odds? Slim. But when has Tommy Shelby ever cared about the odds? What makes this film even more exciting is the talent steering the ship. The Immortal Man is directed by Tom Harper, who isn't new to the Peaky Blinders universe. He worked on early episodes of the series and knows exactly how to balance that gritty atmosphere with cinematic flair. And of course, the script comes from none other than Steven Knight, the creator who built the Shelby empire from the ground up. That combination should reassure fans that this isn't just a quick cash grab. Instead, it looks like a carefully crafted send-off that has the DNA of the series, while giving Tommy Shelby the kind of epic stage he deserves. Now let's talk cast, because this lineup is absolutely stacked. Alongside Cillian Murphy, the film brings in powerhouse names like Barry Keoghan, who's been making waves in everything from indie hits to big studio blockbusters. We've also got Tim Roth, Jay Licurgo, Ned Dennehy, Sophie Rundle returning as Ada, and Stephen Graham, who already left a mark on Season 6. Plus, Rebecca Ferguson, fresh off Dune and Silo, is stepping into the mix, which adds even more intrigue. That's a roster packed with talent, and it tells us that Netflix is betting big on this movie being more than just a footnote. They want it to stand tall as a prestige piece, with the kind of cast that draws in audiences far beyond Peaky diehards. But here's the twist. One familiar face won't be back. Sam Claflin, who made such a chilling impression as Oswald Mosley in Seasons 5 and 6, has confirmed he's sitting this one out. In interviews promoting his upcoming Count of Monte Cristo project, Claflin admitted he won't appear in the film. He said he's excited as a fan, but it's a no-go for him this time. That's a bit of a letdown, since Mosley's clashes with Tommy were some of the most electric moments in the show's later years. Their ideological battle was as gripping as any shootout, and Claflin brought a dangerous charisma to the role. Still, with Europe unraveling during the late 1930s, the story possibilities remain endless even without him. If you're wondering where exactly this movie picks up, the timeline makes things interesting. The Immortal Man is set against the backdrop of World War II, which means the story jumps a few years beyond where Season 6 ended. That final season closed with Tommy riding off into uncertainty, a man stripped down to his core after everything he had endured. By dropping him straight into a global conflict, Steven Knight is making a bold move. No longer is Tommy just negotiating with rival gangs, corrupt politicians, or local enemies. He's dealing with the full weight of history crashing down. The Second World War was the ultimate test of survival, and if anyone was built to navigate that storm, it's Thomas Shelby. Now let's pause for a second and talk about Cillian Murphy's return itself. The actor told The Observer that playing Tommy again means more to him than people might realize. He worked out that he's been embodying this character for nearly a quarter of his life, which is staggering to think about. And he only said yes to coming back because the script was strong. That's important, because Murphy isn't someone who signs onto projects lightly. He's known for being selective. Add to that his massive momentum from Oppenheimer, which earned him an Academy Award, and you've got a star returning at the absolute peak of his career. When he says the film feels like a proper bookend to the 36 hours of television, fans should take notice. One thing worth pointing out is that The Immortal Man isn't just about wrapping up loose ends. It's about expanding the mythology of Tommy Shelby. Fans have always debated whether Tommy is a hero, a villain, or something in between. The movie gives Knight and Murphy one final chance to explore that question on a much bigger canvas. In a world where survival means compromise and morality is constantly blurred, Tommy has always thrived. But how does a man who built an empire from violence and cunning adapt to a war where individual power counts for so little? That's the dramatic tension that could elevate this film beyond being just another gangster story. From a production standpoint, this film also represents a milestone for Netflix. Streaming platforms are constantly chasing cultural moments, and Peaky Blinders has proven to be one of the rare series that grew in popularity after its initial run. Many people discovered the Shelbys through Netflix rather than traditional TV. By investing in a big-budget film with Murphy leading the charge, Netflix is signaling that it wants to turn this franchise into a long-term crown jewel. And let's be honest, period dramas with sharp suits, smoky bars, and explosive violence, they never really go out of style. Fans also want to know, when exactly can we expect this release? While Netflix hasn't dropped an exact date yet, filming wrapped back in December 2024. Post-production on a film like this usually takes more than a year, especially with the level of detail expected from a historical drama. That's why industry insiders are betting on a first-half 2026 release window. If Netflix wants to build maximum hype, they'll likely roll out teaser trailers by late 2025, just enough to get fans buzzing again. And when that first glimpse of Tommy Shelby drops, expect social media to explode. Of course, all this anticipation comes with a big question. Will The Immortal Man really be the last time we see Tommy Shelby? Murphy himself has strongly hinted that it's the final ride. He's called the film a proper conclusion, a bookend to everything the series accomplished. And honestly, that feels right. Stretching the character too far risks diminishing what's already been achieved. Peaky Blinders told a story of ambition, power, family, and the cost of survival. If this film sticks the landing, it will cement Tommy's place in television and now movie history as one of the most iconic characters of our time. What's also fascinating is how this project bridges the gap between TV and film. More and more, we're seeing shows leap onto the big screen as a way of wrapping up or expanding their stories. But Peaky Blinders feels uniquely suited for that transition. The show's cinematic style, its use of music, and its larger-than-life characters always felt like they were just a step away from film anyway. So, when audiences finally sit down to watch The Immortal Man, it won't feel like a shift in tone. It'll feel like the natural evolution of the Shelby saga, complete with all the grit, style, and tension we've come to expect. So here's the bottom line. Cillian Murphy is back as Thomas Shelby, and The Immortal Man is shaping up to be one of Netflix's biggest events of 2026. With a stellar cast, a trusted creative team, and a story set in the most explosive era of the 20th century. This movie has everything it needs to go down as a fitting farewell. Whether you've been riding with the Shelbys since day one, or you discovered the show years later through streaming, this film promises closure, spectacle, and a reminder of why Tommy Shelby became a legend. Now the countdown begins, and all we can do is wait for that first trailer. Because when Tommy Shelby walks back into the smoke, you can bet the world will be watching.